Hey folks, welcome back. This is another video in the Cheap and Cheerful series. That was my very slow skewb solve from behind the viewfinder. This is just a skewb. This is the Expand Designs Wingy Skewb M. The M stands for magnets, of course. It's a very nice speed solvable skewb with this interesting concave shape that helps you grip the puzzle a bit better. That's very helpful on a skewb because you have these deep quarter cuts. And it's nice to be able to hang on to the puzzle more easily. Very easily slips out of the hands otherwise. So if you're looking for a nice speed solvable skewb, this is a cheap and effective one to get, and I recommend it. However, that's not what I'm covering today. I just wanted to provide that as a point of contrast with this guy. This is the Meilong Double Skewb from Moyu, and this cost me £7.49 via cubes.co.uk, and it's a really nice and unique spin on the skewb. So if we put these side by side, you can see the immediate correspondence between the pieces. You have corners in the same places on a normal skewb, face centers in the same places. You have the same cuts, so like this skewb, like this on the double skewb, exactly the same. So what's different? Well, on the double skewb, we have visible pieces inside the puzzle. We have these windows in all of our face centers for the skewb, and through that, we can see these pieces of the core. But at first it's a bit confusing because when I do my skewb turns, those pieces don't appear to change, which if that was true, that means they're adding nothing at all to the solve, right? And obviously if we're going to have a variant on the skewb, we want it to do something. But so far, nothing. Until I get to one corner in particular. See, so there's one corner on the puzzle, which we call the disjoint corner, which is not connected to those interior pieces. And so when I rotate that corner, that's how these centers then get misaligned. So effectively what you have is a normal skewb solve, but with strangely bandaged interior pieces that also need to be solved. And that adds an additional layer onto the normal skewb solve experience. And it makes for a really interesting and unique puzzle. Now the first thing you need to do when you get this is to find your disjoint corner, because it's not the same on every double skewb. So in my case, it's on the blue, red, and yellow corner. And I know that that one will always be the one I need to keep in mind when I want to manipulate these interior pieces, right? So when I scramble this, because I'm involving this corner as well in my scramble, I will end up with these interior centers decoupled from the rest of the puzzle. And the easy way to put that right is to solve the exterior skewb first and forget about the internal centers and do those separately. So once the skewb solve is done and we're in this position, then we sort these centers out. And the way to do that, there's a simple 3-cycle that I'm going to show you, which will move around these 3 centers counterclockwise in a cycle. So, but the first thing you need to know about this move sequence is that you need to have your disjoint corner, whichever one it is, in this front bottom slot. So if I'm holding the skewb like this, tilted at an angle, then this is where your disjoint corner needs to be. And what this cycle will do is move these 3 centers around. So I'll show you an example of how it works. So it's very, very simple. You just do a typical up, up, down, down that you might use on any normal skewb solve, starting from the right, and then between each repetition of that, you're rotating the cube, right? So we're going to go up, up, down, down. Then we rotate counterclockwise like this around that F corner. And we go up, up, down, down. Rotate again around the front corner, up, up, down, down. And we're back home. The exterior skewb is still solved. Everything is in the same position except for these 3 centers, which have been isolated and have cycled counterclockwise. So the blue has moved over here, the white center has moved over here, and the red center has moved down here. Right? Now, what makes this tricky, even if you know this 3-cycle, which of course you do now, in order to use it to solve the last stage of the double skewb, you have to do some quite counterintuitive setup moves. And for that reason, I think this puzzle is a really nice intro for people who mainly do WCA type puzzles, to get them thinking about some more complex ideas in twisty puzzle solving. The setup moves on a skewb are easy to lose track of because each turn moves a heck of a lot of the puzzle, right? A lot of pieces have been disrupted. And so sometimes you need more than one setup move to get the face center colors you need in position for the 3 cycle. And so you need to keep track of what you're doing. You can easily get lost and have to start over. And that's not something you normally experience on a Skewb. Skewb is normally pretty straightforward, especially if you have a good speed solving method committed to muscle memory. So this really will have to make you stand back for a second, think about the puzzle as a whole, the way the pieces move, where you need to place your centers, and it gets you out of the speed solving mindset a bit more. So this puzzle is really great to change the perspective of people who are not accustomed to this kind of twisty puzzling. So let's see, there's a disjoint corner again. So I make sure that's in the bottom slot, and I can do everything again. Rotate, up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down. And you can see it's moved everything one more step. So one more cycle will bring the red back here, the blue back here, and the white back here, right? So once again, reposition. There's our disjoint corner, up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down, and up, up, down, down. There we go, we're back home again. So that was just a little sneak preview of a tool you can use to finish off the solve if you're doing it in the typical way, where you kind of decouple the solve of the interior centers from the Skewb solve and do them in 2 separate chunks. Now there are other ways that you can intersperse fixing the face centers with the rest of the solve, and I'm going to put a link in the description to a discussion about this on the Twisty Puzzles forum. You can definitely use that as a jumping off point to do some more challenging ways of solving this puzzle. But that's one of the nice things about it. It's, you know, this simple idea of let's have some manipulable core pieces that are decoupled from one of the corners to allow them to get out of sync. It just creates some opportunities for some unique solving strategies and new ways of looking at what would otherwise be a completely normal Skewb. So that's the Meilong Double Skewb. I do have a certain sort of preference for cubes within cubes. So I really like the idea behind this puzzle, and as soon as I saw that it was coming out and it was going to be cheap and it was by Moyu, so the movement would be good, then I just straight up pre-ordered it. I'm really happy I got it. And in fact, it's so cheap, particularly if you buy it from the Chinese shops. I'm quite tempted to buy a few of these and keep them around as kind of cubing gifts for people, maybe, just to sort of skew people's perspective and make them try something a bit different. Very, very sort of economical way to introduce somebody to some interesting quirks of twisty puzzles. So I hope that helped. If you had heard about this puzzle and weren't sure what it was all about, maybe this will help you make a decision. And if you keep that 3 cycle in mind, you should be able to work your way towards the easier method of solving this puzzle. In the meantime, I've got another video coming up where I'll show you another Skewb with a cube within a cube kind of vibe, and in a much more kind of straightforward and direct way than this one. But that will be part of my over-the-top series, so look forward to that. In general, I do want to cover some more Skewb-type puzzles, which are one of my favorite categories. If you have any other ideas, particularly for cheap and cheerful puzzles based on a Skewb base or some kind of hybrid Skewb formulation, that would be good to cover for cheap and cheerful, please let me know. Shout out in the comments. And other than that, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.